This is Terry Rosenthal. My company is TSR Consulting Services. I've been a TimeSlip certified consultant for the last 18 years, and our goal today is to show you how TimeSlips 2014 can integrate with QuickBooks. The versions of QuickBooks need to be at least 2011 Pro or higher, and you'll see how the integration reduces the amount of double entry that you would have to do. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how when we add a name into TimeSlips, it's going to automatically transfer into QuickBooks. So we're going to add the new name of Mr. Brooks, and he is a new client, John Brooks, and he's got a matter. And as soon as I save it, TimeSlips is going to ask me if I want to add it to QuickBooks. I'm going to say yes, and it is now a client in the QuickBooks list. So you'll see Mr. Brooks is now in QuickBooks. So once your client hires you, he's going to give you a retainer. So we're going to take that retainer and we're going to record it so that it shows up on his bill, and we're also going to put it into TimeSlips and QuickBooks. So he gave us a $10,000 retainer, and after that, since everything is linked up correctly, we are going to transfer to the GL. Here we have his payment to account. It's going to hit QuickBooks undeposited funds, and it's going to be recorded in the QuickBooks Client Trust Liability. We're going to post it over to QuickBooks, and you'll see as soon as we go into QuickBooks, when we go to make the deposit, his check is here for $10,000. So we're going to say OK, and we're going to go ahead and put it into the trust account as opposed to operating, save and close. Now, if I want to look at my bank account, I can see that, and actually you didn't see before, but there is $10,000 more in there than there was before. And I can also run a report that tells me how much money each client has in client funds. So I can see that Mr. Brooks now has $10,000. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to write a check for cost advance, because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to file a complaint. And we're going to write that out of the operating account to the clerk of courts for $125 for Mr. Brooks. We're going to say we don't need to print this and save it. So you can go ahead and put all of your checks in, and when you're ready to do your billing, you can go into TimeSlips, and rather than re-enter them, which is so often the procedure, we can create slips from QuickBooks. So we're going to go ahead, it's going to look it up, and it's going to see here is our $109 check. As you can see, there are some other checks that need to be printed. And we're going to create a slip. And let's just do it on this one, because this one is linked where it's going to charge him for that $125. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get ready to generate our bills, and we have to add a little bit of time for Mr. Brooks. And let's say Mr. Santos spent an hour drafting and revising. He spent an hour on that. And we have the other attorney, who is Mr. Brickley, and he gave the client a call. And he spent 0.3 of an hour. So his time is worth $45, and you'll notice that the other attorney's time is worth more, so we're going to go ahead and generate a bill. And if I go to the billing details, I can see $120 was Santos, and then Dave Brickley had $45. And the bill comes out looking like this. So he's getting billed $125 for the expenses. He's getting billed $165 for fees. So $290 is going to come out of his trust account. Once we print it and approve it, we'll see what happens now. So now we want to take that money and transfer it from our trust account into the operating account, because we've now earned that money. So we're going to go once again, transfer to GL. And the client trust liability is going to be reduced by $290, and our income is going to be increased by the amount of the fees. Once I post that over, I can look into QuickBooks, and I have a couple things. First of all, I want to write a check out of my client funds account, so that's ready to go. When I go to print checks, oops, I'm on print form. Sorry about that. And that's out of client trust. And it just so happened to be that was the 290. These are other ones from a different day. So 11/7, that's the one that we want to print. Once we print it, we can then go ahead and deposit it into the operating account. And we can see there's the $290, and it's going to be deposited into the operating account. So the interesting thing is we now have, not only have we reduced Mr. Brooks's client trust liability, we've also increased the fees for a couple of the attorneys. So if I go back to time slips, I can see that if I go for the timekeeper collections, and we're just going to pick today so that we know we don't have any extra stuff in here. We're going to see that on the Brooks case, DAB collected $45 and SJS collected $120. If I go into QuickBooks, that's going to give me the same information. If I go into the chart of accounts, you'll see that on the income side, Brickley's income for that matter increased by $45, and Santos increased by $120. So you can actually see that the reports are being synchronized and all of the information is in both locations. So now let's assume that the case is over, and we're going to go ahead and give Mr. Brooks the rest of his money back. So at this point, we're going to go back into our funds, and we're going to say withdrawal from funds, and we're going to go on Mr. Brooks, and we're going to see that he has $9,710. We are going to return his $9,710 and say the case is over. When that happens, we're going to transfer once again to GL, and it's going to give us a check to be printed. We're going to post, go into QuickBooks, and when we go to print forms, we're going to see that check is there ready to print. So there's the $9,710, and it's payable to Mr. Brooks. So you can see now that if we go into his trust report, we can see that that $9,710 is returned and there is no balance. So the reports synchronize, everything ties out, and not only does it give you simple data entry and one step or the reduction of duplicate entry, but it also gives you a way to coordinate and to tie out your accounts in both time slips and QuickBooks. Thank you very much.